What is going on, team? It is your friend Austin here with AP Space, and to begin, we are going to edit a PCB footprint in OrCAD X PCB Presto 25.1. So, to begin, we're going to open up our application, Capture CAS 25.1, and I'm going to show you what we're going to edit today. And we're going to open our project that has our capacitor symbol and footprint created from a previous video. So here's our circuit that we created. And then we can go to update layout. And if you see here, when we start moving the part, the plus sign is on pin 1, and what we actually want to do is move the origin from pin 1 to the body center or centroid of the part. So to achieve that, we are going to open PCB Presto and shift the pads down is what we are going to accomplish here. And then we open our footprint, which is the .dra file extension. And we'll actually turn on our grids just so we know what we're working with here. And we're just gonna turn our grids on to 0.1 and 0.1 millimeters. And that should be the case here. And our origin is currently on pin 1, but we don't want the origin to be on pin 1. We want the origin to be right on the body center or the centroid of the capacitor footprint. And to verify, we're going to read the data sheet of this capacitor that we're making the footprint for. And it's a 0805 size. We're using a density level B, median nominal density, and the distance for C is 0.9 millimeters. So when we see what the variable C is, that's right here, and that's the distance from the body center to the center of the footprint pad. And if we want to make that shift, we can actually simply just click on the pad and we can shift the Y to minus 0.9 and click enter. And that will shift down to where we need it to be. And then now we have the bottom pad where it needs to be. And then we need to edit the position of pad 2, which needs to be at then plus 0.9 millimeters. And then we want to click on pad 2, and then it's at 1.8 millimeters. and we want the Y to be at 0.9 millimeters. And then that is correct. The reason why we're making the origin be at the body center of the part, it's because the pick and place standard references the origin to be able to place surface mount resistors, capacitors, inductors, and components at the body center. So the pick and place machine references the origin to be able to place the parts in the correct spot, and that is why we are editing the part so that the pick and place machine can reference the correct reference point. So the original dimensions were correct, but the origin needs to be at the body center of the part in order for the pick and place machine to not run into any problems, or to just have the part standardized for the standard pick and place machine, essentially. So this is the standard setting that you want to use. And now what we need to do is save as, and we made another folder, and we're just going to simply increment to part number AP underscore V1, and then we can click save. And now that is saved, we can exit out, and we need to go to our schematic, and we need to, well, first we'll do this. We need to actually add the .dra file extension and the .psm file extension files to our cadence folder, and more specifically the parts library. Okay, so our .dra file and our .psm file is in the right spot now. And what we need to do is copy and paste the file name now. It's in our test folder, test 8 parts. And this is the character string we need. And we're actually going to double click on the part, and we need to go to PCB footprint, and it was previously V0. Now we went to V1, and that is now the correct footprint. And then, do you want to apply changes? Yes, we do want to apply changes there. And then we need to click on C2. And then C2, the PCB footprint name is at V0. To edit the name to V1 to verify. It says V1 now. And we click back to page 0. Do you want to apply changes? Yes, we want to apply the changes there. And then we save the project. And we need to now update the layout and verify that the changes have been made. So don't mind the errors here. We'll just clean that up really quick. Delete these. But what we really need to check is when we click on the part does the plus sign go to the body's center or the centroid of the part? And it sure does. When we move the part around, the plus sign is in the center of the part, and that is now the case for C2. So that is how you edit a PCB footprint in OrCAD X PCB Presto 25.1. And you guys all have a wonderful day.